Once untouchable, now a Laker. That number 77 Laker jersey just looks wrong. His on-court talent was matched only by his off-court temper. And Hayes was probably tossed from the game. The league's top scorer became its top offender. 107 techs and 5 ejections. And $370,000 in fines, leading to a ban for so-called violence. But what does Dončić's disciplinary record actually show? The charge banned for violence conjures images of a full-blown fight. You picture punches, maybe a player being physically removed. The story suggests he crossed a line so severe the team cut ties with a superstar. But the official NBA record tells a different story. His file shows 107 technicals and $370,000 in fines over 115 incidents in 8 seasons. 5 ejections, but 0 suspensions and no brawls. The league has never once classified his actions as a fight. The cause of every ejection was verbal. Let's review the 5 incidents. First, as a 19-year-old rookie, he'd been jawing at refs all game. Down by 13, he booted the ball into the crowd for his first career ejection. The penalty was a $10,000 fine, not for fighting, but for kicking a ball. Next, in 2021, he was already on thin ice with 14 technicals. An offensive foul sent him screaming past an official. That earned 1 tech. A frustrated ball toss down court sealed his ejection. His coach was also ejected, but the league upheld the call. Yelling and a thrown ball. A week later in 2021, things escalated. He was cited for an aggressive strike below the belt during a rebound. It was a flagrant 2, an instant ejection and the most physical act on his record. Yet his opponent, Colin Dunn, dismissed it as a simple box out with no malice. Dončić himself called it an accident while battling for the ball. By December 2022, his team was struggling against Minnesota. After a no call, his protest earned him 2 quick technicals from the referee. His coach was ejected defending him, while Dončić admitted only to the first tech. He claimed his only reaction was a smile of disbelief. His final ejection, as a Laker in 2025, involved a courtside fan. A referee, thinking an expletive was for him, issued the ejecting technical. The Lakers lost, but the league later overturned that very technical. The damage was done, and that referee was left off the playoff roster. That's 5 ejections in 8 seasons, none for actual violence. 107 techs and $370,000 in fines, but 0 suspensions or fights. That's the violence in question. The record is real, but violence is the wrong word for it. While his arguments tell one story, the physical altercations around him tell another. Because Dončić has never been the one to throw a punch. Yet, he's often the centre of tension that boils over into physical confrontation. The distinction is critical. Someone else always escalated and paid the price. The most infamous example happened in the 2020 Orlando bubble playoffs. The Clippers enforcer, Marcus Morris Sr., was assigned to physically stop Dončić. His methods were aggressive, vocal, and, according to Dallas, deliberately dirty. Game 5, Morris stomped on Dončić's injured ankle while he was down. Dallas immediately called it a dirty play. In Game 6, Morris was ejected for a flagrant 2 foul to Dončić's head, enraging the Mavericks. Dončić, still nursing the injury, called it a terrible move, noting it was the 2nd straight game. But that intense feud vanished just as quickly as it began. The following season, Morris personally apologised during a game and Dončić accepted. He praised Morris as a great player and defender, admitting he enjoyed the constant trash talk. With no grudges held, the conflict dissolved when the series ended. But his new rivalry with Chris Dunn of the Clippers is even more combustible and shows no signs of ending. Dunn is a defensive bulldog. He's an aggressive, high-energy guard who thrives on antagonising his opponents. Dunn smothers Dončić physically and calls him a flopper. Dončić answers with step-back threes and taunts. The conflict peaked on November 25th, 2025, during an NBA Cup match. With the Lakers winning easily, 135-118, Dunn hit Dončić from behind in garbage time. It was a blatant cheap shot. Dončić hit the court, but sprang right back up to confront Dunn. As Dončić fell, words were exchanged, and Dunn took a swing as the situation boiled over. What happened next was fast. Dunn shoved the basketball directly into Dončić's chest. You can see him just ram the ball right into Luka's chest. Then teammate Jaxson Hayes retaliates, shoving Dunn from behind, clearly risking an ejection. That push from Hayes was a definitive act of team loyalty, the kind that galvanizes a locker room. Hayes reacted instantly to defend his teammate, drawing a swing from Dunn before officials could intervene. Dunn earned a technical for shoving the ball into Dončić. Jaxson Hayes was then assessed a technical foul for his retaliatory push. A second technical got Dunn ejected, while Hayes received only a single one. After a league review, the NBA decided against any further suspensions. After scoring 38 points, Dončić was asked in the press conference if he would cover his teammate's fine. "I got it," he said. "I told him right away." He showed his gratitude by publicly vowing to pay the fine himself. When asked what triggered the incident, his explanation was simple and direct. He said he was just waiting for a rebound when he took a cheap shot to the back. "I'm not gonna just stand there. I ain't afraid of nobody." Then he delivered his defining statement on these clashes. "Sometimes it's going to get physical. There's a lot of trash talking. I live for that, so I love it." This has been his consistent pattern since 2019. Dončić is always at the centre of these incidents, but he never initiates the physical contact. Morris targeted his ankle. Dunn shoved him from behind. Westbrook jabbed a teammate in another series. Each time, Dončić stands his ground, talks back, and lets his opponent be the one to lose composure. It's always the other guy who gets the ejections, the fines, and the flagrant fouls. And that is precisely why calling it violence misses the point. His weapon is his mouth, which referees and rivals cannot ignore. If you have watched him play more than 3 times, you know the routine. He will score an incredible basket, get no foul call, then immediately turn to referee with arms outstretched to begin a fiery complaint. This argument almost always continues long after the play has moved to the other end of the floor. It is as fundamental to his game as his signature step-back three-pointer. It is as certain as a triple-double stat line, and it drives everyone, from teammates to fans, crazy. And, most critically, it infuriates the officials, a fact the numbers consistently support. Since the 2020-21 season, Dončić has consistently earned over 15 technical fouls annually, reaching 107 for his career by early March 2026. He is always a contender for the league lead in that statistic, coming just one shy of suspension with 16 infractions during the 2020-21 season. The next year he had 17, and the season after that, 17 more. He expertly walks right up to the line, seemingly taking pleasure in knowing exactly how far he can push the boundaries. His most famous penalties highlight the full spectrum of his antics directed at officials. In a heated September 2020 playoff contest, he was fined $15,000 for throwing a ball off a referee's leg. Then, in March 2023, facing the Golden State Warriors, he made the universal money gesture at an official, suggesting the game was fixed, though no technical was issued at the time. The league later penalised him $35,000, his highest fine to date, which the Mavericks unsuccessfully protested. This constant conflict with officials has a clear negative impact on his team. Even his staunchest supporters, who admire his competitive drive and fearlessness, concede that it is a significant flaw. When Dončić complains about a call, he fails to get back on defence. A technical foul in a tight contest is a free point for the opposition. On the 5 occasions he has been ejected, his team loses its star and, frequently, the game itself, a point Brian Windhorst emphasised on First Take that clearly resonated with the panel. When Jay Williams was asked if he trusted Luka to helm a championship squad, his answer was a simple, direct no. That immediate and firm rejection from Jay Williams stemmed from a deeper issue than just the complaints. He identified a major inconsistency between Dončić's impressive statistics and his actual effect on winning. The man misses half the defensive plays because he's not even on that side of the court. He is often preoccupied arguing with an official, a sentiment Stephen A. Smith eventually echoed. It raises a crucial question. Do Doncic's defensive indifference and emotional volatility negate the leadership a true champion requires? He might be the NBA's top scorer, but he also leads the league in turnovers per game and boasts the #1 usage rate. Smith then articulated the criticism that is hardest to refute. All those other issues could be managed if only the man would play some defense. His complete inability to guard anyone is the core of the problem. The arguments lead to defensive breakdowns, the breakdowns lead to losses, and the losses create a perception about Dončić. The story becomes that, despite his incredible talent, he cannot be the centerpiece of a title-winning organization. This narrative is infinitely more harmful to his legacy than any financial penalty or ejection. But his outspokenness also serves another purpose. It forges rivalries. Dončić isn't one to let his performance do the talking. He is an audacious trash talker who will sink a tough shot in your face and then lock eyes with you as the crowd roars. That approach to the game is a magnet for confrontation. It transforms regular games into bitter contests and playoff matchups into personal battles. The feud with Devin Booker is the prime example of this effect. During the 2022 conference semifinals, with Phoenix ahead in Game 5, Booker was fouled and fell to the ground, where he mockingly told a fan filming him that it was the Dončić special, a jab at his reputation for embellishing fouls. Dončić got wind of the comment, and his on-court answer was ferocious. In Game 7, he erupted for 35 points, leading a 123-90 thrashing that eliminated the top-seeded Suns. Booker's taunt had awakened a beast, but even that intense rivalry eventually faded. By Christmas of 2023, Booker was sending congratulations to Dončić on the birth of his child. Both players later acknowledged their mutual respect was genuine and that the media had overblown their on-court spats. Therein lies the paradox of his provocations. They fuel fierce, temporary conflicts that are forgotten once the game is over. The trash talk is merely competitive energy, burned for the moment and left behind. His developing rivalry with Anthony Edwards seems to have a different origin. It feels more crafted by the media for a good story than born from any real animosity between the two young, confident superstars. In the 2024 to 2025 season, ESPN's Tim Legler even declared it the best rivalry in the entire NBA. On court, their rivalry remained professional. It was a clash of styles, not a personal feud. The media, not animosity, created the narrative. But a quieter drama was unfolding in Dallas. The Mavericks front office had been watching Dončić for years. They scrutinized more than just his on-court performance. His off-court habits were seen as a threat to his durability. Reports of internal frustration over his conditioning surfaced. His weight allegedly hit 271 pounds. Dallas saw a significant risk and decided to act. Then came the shocking mid-season trade in February 2025. The Mavericks sent Luka Dončić to the Lakers for Anthony Davis. The league was stunned, and Dončić himself was blindsided. Seeing him in Lakers 77 was a surreal sight. Lakers Governor Jeannie Buss described the move with satisfaction. She revealed the secret deal came together within weeks. Rob Pelinka, the general manager, was essential. They were determined to prevent any disruptive leaks. Buss confirmed Dončić was caught completely off guard by the news. She expressed empathy, noting that being traded is humbling. The reality of the situation hadn't yet set in for him. She acknowledged that no player wants that experience. But Buss then revealed an emotional connection to Kobe Bryant. This made the move feel like more than just a basketball decision. The chance to get Luka was one they had to take. She recalled her final meeting with Kobe before he passed. Kobe had brought his daughter Gigi to a game just to watch Luka play. Buss believes the move would have made them both happy. On first take, pundits debated the shocking decision. Jay Will suspected a serious reason drove the trade, but he admitted Luka's offensive talent is generational. Stephen A. acknowledged the legitimacy of the team's concerns. His conditioning and personal habits were valid issues, yet he argued giving up on Dončić was a major mistake. He claimed Dallas simply got lucky later in the draft. For Dončić, the move was a much-needed reset. Now with the Lakers, a new motivation has been unleashed. He is leading the NBA in scoring at 32.5 points per game. His focus seems sharper, but old questions remain. His move to Los Angeles was carefully orchestrated. The Lakers embraced not just Dončić, but his entire circle. They handled the complex logistics of his mid-season uprooting. All this occurred while he was learning a new offense. We've welcomed his family and his management. We are doing everything we can to support his transition. A prior connection with Reich from their time in Dallas provided a strategic advantage. Dorian Finney-Smith, a former Mavericks teammate, had also been brought to the Lakers, a move that was purely intentional. These were calculated decisions to create stability amid the chaos. But no amount of planning could negate the emotional toll on a player who had just bought a Dallas home. He was building a life, his family was settled, and then everything changed in an instant. In their first talk, Buss noted that the gravity of the trade hadn't fully hit him. He was processing the shock of being cast off by the very team built around him. A sideline clash with Coach Reich in early March 2026 revealed another layer of tension. The heated exchange became physical when Reich grabbed his arm heading to the bench. Jared Vanderbilt's swift intervention, placing himself between them, prevented the conflict from escalating. The media hailed Vanderbilt's de-escalation as masterful, and no technicals were issued. Though settled privately, the incident was a potent reminder of the player's inherent fire. That same intensity, the source of his greatness and his infractions, had followed him from Dallas. It arrived in Los Angeles, packed right alongside his legendary skill set. The record is clear: 107 technical fouls and $370,000 in fines across 115 incidents. It is a volume that exasperates officials while captivating or infuriating fans, depending on their allegiance. He is a player with 5 ejections to his name, all for verbal altercations, never physical ones. In fact, his most physically aggressive on-court moment, a flagrant 2 foul, was brushed off by the opposing player as a routine box-out. This is contrasted by a generational basketball ability that is impossible to classify. Dončić is the only player in league history with a career average of at least 25 points, 8 rebounds and 8 assists. At just 27, he has 88 triple-doubles, ranking 7th all-time, while his playoff scoring average is the 2nd highest in history. He is a 6-time All-Star, a 5-time All-NBA first-team pick, the 2018-19 Rookie of the Year, and a scoring champion. His career box plus-minus rating is the 4th best ever recorded. His 73-point game is tied for the 4th highest single-game total in NBA history. He reached 14,000 points, 4,000 rebounds, and 4,000 assists, faster than nearly any predecessor, sparking legendary comparisons. His game has been likened to Magic Johnson for his size and playmaking, and to Larry Bird for his vision and shooting. He draws parallels to James Harden's isolation skills and the early playoff dominance of LeBron James. He was already a EuroLeague champion and MVP at 19 before his NBA debut. He led Slovenia to a Eurobasket gold medal at 18, the youngest key player in the tournament's history. Fluent in 4 languages, Slovenian, Serbian, English and Spanish, he is a global figure. Yet his personal life drew speculation when his fiancée, Anna Maria Gortis, posted a retrospective of their life that featured their 2 daughters but omitted any image of him. He is the father of Gabriella, born December 1st, 2023, and Olivia, born December 4th, 2025. He calls fatherhood the greatest gift and says he plays so his daughters will one day see what he accomplished. Through his foundation, he committed $5 million to 77 young athletes worldwide, and he pledged $500,000 to Los Angeles wildfire relief. When he arrived, Jeannie Buss acknowledged the immense weight of the franchise's history. She recognized that many players feel overwhelmed by the legacies they are meant to follow. She told him simply to write his own chapter in the Lakers' storybook. His response, however, was what truly surprised her. He just wished Kobe Bryant had been there to see it. This is the man behind the headlines. He is not a thug or a brawler, but a fierce competitor defined by passion, not violence. He is a volatile prodigy, challenging every official and retaliating in every scuffle. He mentally shatters his opponents before the inevitable technical fouls are tallied. And he embraces the chaos. The concern was never a potential ban for his conduct. The real question is if he can conquer his own demons to claim the championship he lacks. Unlike this video's title, that question has no simple, easy answer. The outcome is still being decided this season. Thank you for your time. If you like this breakdown, select one of the videos on screen for more content.